Hello there. This is an astrological forecast for Leo for 2010. And this also applies if you have a Leo ascendant. The major themes for you this year, Leo, are going to be your finances, your money, your work, and your relationships. That's a lot. Let me break it down for you into the transits and how they're going to be affecting you. The first thing I have to mention is that Mars is retrograde in your sign until the middle of March. So you are going to feel as though in some ways your energy isn't really going forward as directly as you'd like it to be. You're doing a bit of this, you're doing a bit of that, but somehow you're not breaking through enough. Best thing to do with this energy, Leo, is to do some research, to do some inner work, to do some planning, some plotting. Because once it does go direct around the middle of March, it actually doesn't start moving until May again. So don't be too concerned if you don't feel as though you're moving forward until sort of the first quarter of the year is over. It's all right. It's the best way to use it is to be planning your actions during this time. Use the time to be planning. Now, Saturn is in your third house for much of the year. What this means, you're going to be making a lot of changes with respect to your environment. The people around you, your workmates, your community, your relatives, your neighbours. There's a lot of lessons to be learned here, and you're wanting to reorganise this. A lot of things need to be changed. You're not really satisfied with how things have been, and you are wanting to make some serious changes. It's very important that you don't allow things to fester inside of you. If something needs to be said and a relationship ends or something ends or somebody gets upset, well, so be it, because you really need to get things out a lot more. I'm not saying you hold things in necessarily intrinsically, but right at the moment, many of you have been holding things in that do need to get communicated. You need to look at the issues about how you communicate. How can you communicate more effectively with people? Because you're a wonderful organiser, you're wonderful at putting things together, but you don't always give yourself the opportunity to communicate clearly enough with people. So they kind of get the message through a body language thing, but they're not actually getting it verbally and clearly enough. So you will be reorganising this whole area of your life. Between April and July, Saturn goes into your second house. And this is a really important time for you to look at your values, to maybe look again at your finances, to look at where you've got some loose ends, where money is perhaps going out and just disappearing out of your hands, and to maybe rein it in a little. It's a time as well to be looking at your values. What's important to you? What must you have in your life, and where have you been settling for second best? And many of you may in fact decide, well, you know what, I want some job satisfaction. I'm willing to work for less money for a while I maybe retrain myself. This Saturn in the third as well can be a time of retraining, taking on a serious course of study, and I'm going to do that while I really find out what it is that's important to me and I'm ready to act on what's important to me. That's what that Saturn in the second may mean for you, so don't be frightened if it means a cut in wages for a time. Something good will come out of it in the longer term. We've got Pluto in your sixth house of health all year, so this is a time when you do need to take care of your health. It's a long transit, and I've seen many clients utterly transform themselves physically, mentally, emotionally during this transit. So even for those of you that have maybe neglected your health in previous years, this is a great time where if you will put yourself on a decent kind of regimen, you can absolutely reinvent yourself. So this is a really important transit. It's also a time when you're going to be looking at your work. And again, how meaningful is this work to you, and do you need to make some serious changes? Neptune's in your seventh house all year. Many of you are still being idealistic about a relationship. You're not maybe seeing a relationship in your life clearly. And this relates to all your relationships. This isn't just an intimate relationship, although I would include that in here. It's all your relationships. Business, even with your dentist or your doctor or a counsellor or somebody you talk to on a one-to-one basis. I don't think you're seeing these clearly enough. So you need to go into any kind of relationship slowly. And if you do go into a partnership at this time, well, to be honest, I would suggest that you don't go into partnerships, but if you must, be really aware and try to be aware with who you're dealing with, because sometimes people who go into partnerships during this transit often end up with that person being a liability and a hindrance rather than them being beneficial to you in your life. Jupiter and Uranus are in your 8th house much of the year. So there's only a short period between June and September where they move into your, approximately at that time, into your 9th house, but they're in your 8th house. So for many of you, this can mean a sudden windfall. This can mean a sudden amount of money coming from somebody else quite unexpectedly. It's like, wow, where did that come from? However, with Jupiter in that house, it can equally mean that money is just going out. Uranus there can mean that your partner has got issues with their income. And it's important for you, if you can at all, don't depend on somebody else for your income at this time, if you can possibly help it, because their income could become erratic and unreliable, and this will make you feel quite uneasy. So, but it's very important that you don't get involved with any get-rich-quick schemes. I have a feeling there will be these opportunities coming in, and you need to be able to discern which is good and which is bad. So my best advice is really don't get involved with any of them if you can help it. But it's certainly a time when money could really come in to you, but be careful, try to hold on to it, because there will be those pulls wanting to take it away from you just as quickly as it's come in. Between around June and September, Uranus and Jupiter are in your 9th house, and this is a time when many of you are going to want to travel. There may be an unexpected trip for you, or you may become involved with something internationally or globally. For those of you that have always wanted to write a book, it's a great time to start it and to look at getting it published. Really good time, because there's some opportunities coming in. It's also a great time for developing your spirituality, for developing your understanding of why you're here, and what is your unique contribution that you are to make to this planet. So there you have it, Leo. It's going to be a year mixed with you looking at your values, maybe doing some extra studying and looking at your environment and really reorganizing it so that it works for you and you're not feeling at effect of the people around you. Some deep look at your health, your physical health, and looking at ways in which you can really regenerate your body, because the opportunities are there. Possibly a windfall. Make sure you hold on to the money if it does come in. So I wish you a great year. These predictions are going to be up in writing for those of you who like it in writing on my website, and for those of you who are interested in maybe having a personal reading, you may want to take a look at the various options I offer. I thank you for listening, and I wish you a great year. Bye for now.